الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. يقول الله تبارك وتعالى في كلامه المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والذين جاهدوا فينا لنهدينهم سبلنا وإن الله لمع المحسنين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, when we look at the ahadith, we find the fasting habits of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One fasting habit that is masnoon, that is well known, is every Monday and Thursday. And ayyam Bid, known as the white days, the 12th, 13th, and 14th of every lunar month. And apart from that, the fast of Muharram, the fast of Arafah, the 6 days of Shawwal that come after Ramadan. This is one fasting habit. These days in which Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was very particular about fasting. And then there's another fasting habit which is narrated by Sahaba, where they say, Kana Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam yasum hatta naqul ma yuftir. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would fast day after day after day after day, of course, each day being an individual fast, till we used to come to this conclusion. We would make this assumption that he is now going to continue fasting. But then abruptly, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would stop fasting. And then he would eat day after day, eat day after day. Hatta naqul ma yasum, till we used to think, okay, now he's not going to fast. But then abruptly, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would start fasting. So this is another fast. And if you put all these days together of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it comes over to more than 180 days per year, which is almost more than half the year. But when it came to the month of Shaaban, and we are in the month of Shaaban, today is the 6th of Shaaban, the fasting habit of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for the month of Shaaban was very different, unlike any other month. Aisha radiallahu anha narrates that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would fast almost the entire month. The only month that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam fasted entirely in his whole entirety is, of course, the month of Ramadan. But after that, the month that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was seen observing fast more than any other month was the month of Sha'ban. Almost the whole entire month. In other words, the last 1 or 2 days of Sha'ban, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not fast. Now, there was one Sahabi by the name of Usama bin Zayd. And Usama bin Zayd radiallahu an is the son of Zayd bin Harisa. Who is Zayd bin Harisa? Zayd bin Harisa is the adopted son of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the only Sahabi mentioned by name in the Quran, Zayd. His son Usama bin Zayd, son of Zayd. You can imagine how beloved he was and how beloved the father, Zayd ibn Harisa, was to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Usama bin Zayd radiallahu an, he narrates that I asked the Prophet, O Nabi of Allah, Lam araka tasum shahrum min ash-shuhur kama tasumu Sha'ban. I have not seen you fasting in any month like you do in Sha'ban. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave the reason why. He said, Dhalika shahrun, that is a month, yaghfalun nasu an, bayna Rajab wa Ramadan. That is a month between Rajab and Ramadan in which many people are heedless. Heedless of what? Oblivious of the fact of how meritorious, how rewarding, how blessed this month is. They don't know. They have no clue. They have no idea how blessed this month is. And then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam gave another reason. فِيهِ يُرْفَعُ الْأَعْمَالِ إِلَى رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. In this month, my deeds, or everyone's deeds for that matter, are raised up, are presented to Allah. And فَأُحِبُّ أَن يُرْفَعَ عَمَلِي وَأَنَا صَائِمٌ, and I would like that while my deeds are being presented to Allah in this month of Shaaban, I should be in a state of fasting. This is that we have a fiscal year for companies. You have your tax year, right? That starts from January and ends on December 31st. Taxes are due on April 15th, but that's your tax year. This is the annual accounting or accountability, where our deeds are presented, all that we have done in the past 1 year before Allah Azza wa Jal. That reminds me of another hadith in which our angels, they change shift. The angels, 𝘾𝙊𝙉𝙆𝙏𝘾𝙏 katibin, who write our good and bad deeds, just like companies have a day shift and a graveyard shift, these angels, they change shift after Fajr and after Asr. The angels who are there from Fajr to Asr, they go back to Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah will ask them, how did you leave my servant? And if we were remembering Allah after Asr, they will say, we left your servant in a state that he was remembering you. That is why it is recommended to remember Allah, do some dhikr after Fajr and after Asr. Anyhow, that is the daily presentation. But annual presentation happens in the month of Shaaban. Now, what is the connection between fasting and deeds being presented to Allah? What is the connection? Okay, our deeds are presented to Allah in the month of Shaaban once a year. Okay, why should I fast? What does my fasting have to do with my deeds being presented to Allah? Let me give an example. There is a trial phase, and if the person is found guilty in the court of law, then there's a sentencing phase where the judge will now slap the sentence, 10 years or 12 years. And the judge has some flexibility in how harsh that sentence could be. During the sentencing phase, after this person is found guilty, if the judge sees no regret, no remorse on the criminal, there is a possibility, a very strong possibility, that the judge will issue a more strict sentence, because he doesn't see this person as having any regret or remorse or feeling sorry for what he has done. But on the other hand, if the judge feels that this person is genuinely showing signs of regret for the mistake that he has made, for the criminal act that he has done, then there's a good chance the judge will issue a lighter sentence. Similarly, we know our book of deeds and what we have done for the past 1 year. There is no possibility of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his book of deeds, having sin in it. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in his book of deeds in the past 1 year, did not lie a single time. He did not cheat anyone a single time. He did not look at anything haram once. But in our book of deeds, we all know what we have done in the past 1 year. When this book of deeds is for the past 1 year is being presented to Allah in this month of Sha'ban, it would make perfect sense that we are fasting so Allah has some mercy on us. It shows our regret and our remorse for what we have done. It shows our humility and humbleness, and perhaps Allah will have mercy on us. So the month of Sha'ban, it's not fard to fast in this month. The only month in which it is fard to fast is the month of Ramadan. But it is beneficial. It is spiritually beneficial. It puts you in the proper frame of mind for the upcoming month of Ramadan. If you've noticed, before a fard, there is a sunnah. What is the purpose of the sunnah, 2 rakat sunnah before you pray the fard? It is to spiritually prepare you, put you in the right frame of mind for the upcoming fard. Just like when you go for Hajj, the fard is Arafah. But before Arafah, you have the stay in Mina for 24 hours. That stay in Mina is sunnah. It's not a fard of Hajj. But what does the stay in Mina do? It prepares you for Arafah. It prepares you for the upcoming fard of Arafah. Similarly, Shaaban is to prepare us spiritually for the month of Ramadan. Fasting in the month of Shaaban will hopefully do that. Not only will it prepare us spiritually, but it will prepare us physically. If you're like me and haven't fasted in the past 11 months, then all of a sudden when we start fasting in Ramadan, it hits us like a ton of bricks. Our body takes a toll. It's a shock. Our body's in shock. Why? Because we are not accustomed to fasting. But if we did fast a few days in Shaaban, it will prepare us physically. Our bodies will be more physically prepared for Ramadan. Also, it prepares us mentally. Sometimes you've seen in these national tournaments, Wimbledon, when it comes down to match point in tennis or some other sport, it's not how good of a player you are, but how mentally strong you are. You might not be as good as the other player, but if you're mentally stronger than the other player, when it comes to game point, match point, you will score that point. So being mentally prepared for Ramadan. Many of us are not mentally prepared when Ramadan comes along, and that's why after in Taraweeh, you see that the rows, from 8 to 7, 7 to 6, 6 to 5, the rows start dropping as the days go by. We were strong, mentally strong for the first few days, for the first week, and then that is no longer there. So spiritually, physically, mentally, Shaaban can help us for Ramadan, inshallah. Another thing to do to prepare spiritually in this month of Shaaban is if you have missed any day of fasting of Ramadan, if you missed any fast of Ramadan 2023, then before this Ramadan 2024 comes, in a matter of 3 weeks, we should make up that missed fast. Yes, from a fiqh perspective, you have the rest of your life to make up that missed fast. But it's better that you make it up in Shaaban instead of fasting the sunnah fast or the nafil fast of Shaaban. It's better that you make up the fard fast that you missed of Ramadan last year. And when it comes to physical preparation, we can do a few things. We can, as they say, empty our plate before Ramadan comes in this month of Shaaban. If there's any chores, any errands, even if it's something so minor as changing the filter in your furnace, it's better to change that filter in Shaaban than Ramadan. Have one less thing to do in Ramadan. Do not let anything distract you. Anything that needs to get taken care of, whether it's doctor's appointment, tax appointments, better to take care of it in Shaaban. That's also considered part of physical preparation. May Allah Azza wa Jal accept our good deeds in the month of Shaaban and the upcoming month of Ramadan. Wa ma alayna illa al-balagh. Please pray your sunnah.